If reposted.
All right, Mr. Keller, we are right around the New Year's Eve holiday, before or after, sometime in the vortex there. So, of course, I thought we had to do some sort of, New Year's reflection. Do you have any resolutions? So, here's the quote from Vern McLellan. What the new year brings to you will depend on a great deal on what you bring to the new year. It's the old adage, you get out of it what you put into it. I did not put a lot into college, therefore I did not get a lot out of it.
Oh, well, I put a lot into college, and I'm not sure my degree in biochemistry is helping me too much right now while we record this.
I like the idea that if you have a bad attitude going to someone's dinner party, if you're like, oh, this is going to suck tonight, it's going to be no fun. Guess what? It's going to suck tonight and be no fun. Typically speaking, it's mind over matter in most of the situations we find us in. If we want to get something out of it, we're going to get something out of it.
Yeah, it kind of ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, this is going to suck. This is going to suck. This is going to suck. It ends up sucking. Also, if you show up to a dinner party, maybe with a bottle of Fireball, the cinnamon whiskey, it's going to turn into a different type of a dinner party. And I think a lot of people need to keep this in mind coming out of a 2020 being a kind of a wonky year. Like, what are you going to bring in? What's your energy bringing into 21? Like, oh, it's going to suck worse. I'm not going to get the vaccine. Whatever it is, like, you kind of have control over your own sphere. And I feel like most of the time when people complain, it's about stuff that's out of their control. They're upset that Biden's a president-elect, or they're upset that Mitch McConnell, they're upset about something that, that your day-to-day politics aren't really going to affect what you're doing. So maybe springboard with a positive step.
I love that you brought up 2021 because it's an absolute anomaly, right? Because we don't know if we're going to get the vaccine. And then if you do get the vaccine, most people might not come get it till maybe April. So then it's like, what do? Do you plan to go to Hawaii like your family does every year? Do you plan to do your normal things every year? Black and white is good because you can reset and start, but 2021 will not be a black and white year. There will be fits and starts. So how you gonna bring that attitude?
We're gonna slow roll into the new year. It's not gonna be a hard start back to normal. It's gonna be like, hey, let's just ease into it. And my take on that is you should plan things as if they're going to happen, because it's kind of like what you bring to it. Because if you wait for someone to say everything's going to be fine, go do X, Y, and Z, no one's ever going to tell you to plan a vacation. No one's ever going to tell you to do anything. And for your own mental well-being, maybe just thinking ahead or doing something in the moment is going to be better for you. It's what you're going to bring to the new year versus waiting for someone or something to tell you what you should do.
Of the very few people that I've seen and sat on their porch or whatever in the last week-ish, not even that, I've said, what are you going to do about vacation? Like, I'm assuming, I haven't done this research, but I'm assuming right now, if you went and bought a trip to go on vacation, it would be cheaper to buy it right now than it is going to be next month, in a couple of weeks. Like, you could probably get a good deal now, but you don't know if you're ever going to be able to go. So what do? Do you take that step and say, like, you know what? Because I guess that goes back to, are you a gambler or not? Do you want to roll the dice or not? I mean, it seems like a great idea to go to Hawaii, but who knows, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you could push back and say, well, I don't know if I should go to Hawaii because a plane might crash, or I don't know if I should go to Hawaii because a volcano might erupt, or there might be an outbreak of SARS. So, I mean, you're taking calculated risks anyway. So, like, getting in your car is a calculated risk. I mean, people die in their car every day. So if you kind of look at it in the context of everything, buying a plane ticket, or even putting something on the calendar saying, I'm going to go camping or anything, like, isn't that big of a risk? I don't think.
So kind of getting back to this quote, getting out of it what you put into it. I definitely get more out of the show when I've done more research. Yeah. Even if I don't get all my points that I want into you, I've definitely learned a lot more. So I feel like every time we do this, I definitely get a lot more out of this when I've researched and thought and Googled the person, the author that we've had on. So I understand this idea of you get more out of it than you get out of it. Like, so we're talking about things like, should you go to Hawaii this year? But I feel like the one thing that I could do regardless of what happens next year, is put more into my friendships. Like that's a thing that I can do, whether it's like writing a letter, whether it's calling, whatever it is. I feel like that's like a concrete thing that I could do next year and get into, and I will be repaid for my investment.
Do you do New Year's resolutions?
Not really. Not
Yeah.
really.
So
I have one.
Do you share? Is it public or is it a?
It is. I'm making it very
personal?
public. My new best friend for 2021 is going to be my Uncle Dave. He's Karen's uncle.
Oh.
And he is single. And, you know, it's been really tough on him because he's not a huge people person. So he has not seen anybody. And I've just been reaching out, and he's a great guy. So my New Year's resolution is going to be to become best friends with my Uncle Dave.
Does he listen to the show?
No, he does not.
Maybe
He would not have time for this.
He wouldn't have time for. Maybe he can be on it.
No, he would not come on the show.
Your best friend doesn't like you enough to do your podcast.
It's a work in progress, my best friend. He's not my best friend yet. I'm hoping by 2021 he'll be my best friend.
He's a future best friend.
Yes.
I like that. Well, I guess that's a good way to wrap up the year. We started this during the pandemic for a handful of reasons, and just shy of 200 episodes. We did 198 episodes in 2020. And theoretically, we'll do more than that next year because we're not going to start at the end of March. But I feel like I got stuff out of this. I got out. Hopefully people listening got out.
Oh my gosh. Regardless, I say this all the time, regardless if this goes nowhere, I have gotten so much out of this show. And I just say it all the time. The number one thing was the British rapper who came on and said, you can be a British improvisational rapper. You can do it. And I've been practicing it since he came on, and you can do it. If you quiet your mind, you can improvise in life.
I used to do musical improv in the way, which is basically rapping, because you need to come up with rhyme schemes. The way to practice is when you're driving around, rap about what you see. And to see if you can and you can just go like on Spotify and do beats and just rap to that. So
I cannot wait for this year to be over, and you can go on a road trip with the Olsen, because we play that game. We rap about what we see in the car, and I cannot wait for you to be carpool karaoke rapping with the Olsen family.
All right. Well, if you want to call Shotgun, please reach out. You can find us at Reposted Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm Andrew Keller for Get What You Put In. Saying thanks for stopping by.